Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we're going to take a look at the top 5 insights from Independence Day, 4th of July, as well as some hot cannabis flavors for the summer. To help us do that is Katrina Glogowski, angel investor and attorney. Katrina, thanks for being back on the podcast.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, so some insights from the 4th of July is that Independence Day and cannabis go hand in hand. Daytime fun, as well as celebrating special events, are the top occasions for cannabis consumption. I didn't go out to the store and buy anything, but I did roll a few extra blunts while I was barbecuing. That was kind of my special day. Pretty chill by comparison. Katrina, did you celebrate cannabis on the 4th of July?
Cannabis was part of my 4th of July celebration. Yes, Josh.
Nice. Well, there are some flavors that we want to talk about, hot cannabis flavors that kind of go hand in hand with summertime, some stuff that trends. And so one of those is raspberry cannabis candies, a dominant cannabis flavor. I didn't really know that, but they've been seeing some significant growth as of May. So it was the greatest overall distribution in the category and the most popular flavor in Nevada by an extremely wide margin, with Oregon and Michigan as well. So blue raspberry, a well-established flavor, which many of us will remember for its tongue-dyeing efficacy, has proven to be a very common type of gummy. Both the Canna companies and Smokies edibles gummy candies have gained distribution to start the summer. So raspberry, can't say that I've had too many of that.
Raspberry is not a flavor I normally associate with cannabis, so I agree.
I made a raspberry crisp. My neighbor brought over some raspberries, and I made a pie. It was good. Gave me some heartburn, though, man. All right, so cannabis sales spiked in the days surrounding the 4th of July holiday sales in 2019, increasing 31% between July 1st through the 3rd, and then 21% between the 4th and the 6th. So I think it's a lot more for the 4th of July than it is for 7/10. Like the 4/20 holiday is big, but 7/10 hasn't picked up at all in terms of sales. 4th of July is still the dominant sales, as maybe people are going to the in-laws, or maybe they just want to have something that's long-term all day, but definitely a big uptick for the 4th of July.
Well, I think that you see an uptick in sales for any holiday, especially if the holiday involves a potential stressor, Thanksgiving, time with the family, Christmas, these types of things that we usually see an uptake. And 4th of July this year has been unlike a 4th of July in the United States for some amount of time. And so you want to have a celebration, you want to mark the holiday. How are you going to mark the holiday when you and your friends have to have a Zoom 4th of July? So why not? Why not involve cannabis? You're going to be home, you're not driving, and save time. So it makes sense to me. The raspberry flavor doesn't necessarily make sense to me, but the uptick in sales around the holiday, any holiday, makes sense to me.
Now, watermelon is actually next up on the list, and watermelon makes sense. And I just saw a cooking show where this guy had jerked a watermelon. He cut it to make it look just like pork. So people had no idea. They thought it was pork, and he cut into it, and it was watermelon. And I was like, man, that looks good. But watermelon cannabis gummies are definitely big sellers. I see those on the shelves all the time. So after surpassing strawberries' retail presence in January, it's been nothing but growth for watermelon flavored gummies. Even though raspberry is the most carried gummy flavor overall, watermelon just barely edges out for first in California, maintains its dominant presence in Arizona, and a lot of companies are getting in on the watermelon action with Flav, Verano, and Copia gummies of all varieties having becoming increasingly popular with retailers across the nation. Gummy bears are not legal in Washington, but gummies are. What's up with that?
In the state of Washington, Josh, when legalization first passed, we had gummy bears in the shape of a bear. We had gummy worms. We had gummy everything, and bright colors and The LCB, the Liquor and Cannabis Board in the sunny state of Washington, decided that that was attractive to children. And so after the rollout and after many manufacturers did this en masse, Washington changed the law, and now you cannot have any attractive shapes. So no more gummy bears, no worms, no stars, nothing like that. So in Washington, what you see are these squares, a variation on squares. And the second aspect of that regulation was coloring. So now they're just these weird, not quite clear gelatin squares that have a variety of flavors, and it's been interesting for the edible market in Washington, trying to get the consumer to accept these visually unappealing squares. They taste okay. There's nothing wrong with the taste, but the visual aspect of it is quite weird. Maybe that's why we don't see so many flavors in Washington anymore, because of course the flavor has to also be approved by the LCB. And the main flavors I see are more like pineapple and much more tropical in nature. These are made by THC processes, not hemp or CBD processes. And so you want a flavor, if you're going for a gummy, you want a flavor that's going to cover up that cannabis taste, that bitterness. And so I'm used to seeing much stronger flavors. I have seen watermelon, I have seen pineapple, I have seen grape, but raspberry, me. Blue raspberry, you couldn't have a blue raspberry gummy in Washington anyway. So maybe it's just the difference between the states, Josh.
Being in, from 2015, we kind of saw how stupid it was for some companies to rip off Reese's Pieces and things like that. It was just an intellectual property theft. I don't think anybody foresaw that, fourth quarter 2018, that the Liquor and Cannabis Board in Washington would restrict shapes and colors to the effect of potentially destroying 3/4 of the entire edible market. So that was a huge regulatory issue where everybody dropped everything and lost an entire quarter's worth of productivity because that was the only thing they were focused on. So
Right.
definitely an issue. But looking at some other top insights for Independence Day, with inhalable products, you have flower and concentrates that comprise a majority of sales in the days surrounding the 4th of July, but ingestible products experience a boost in sales before and after the holidays, increasing 27% during the first week of July, with candy experiencing the sharpest increase of 50% during the first week of July.
Again, this makes sense. If you're going to be out and about, or even at home doing a Zoom meeting, you don't necessarily want to set something on fire, a combustible, a pre-roll, uh, 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 a bong or anything like that. It's much easier just to pop a piece of candy. It's more discreet. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
smell. If you live in an apartment or other area where smoking of any kind is banned, or if you are one of the few people that ventured out into a crowd, the candies are much more discreet. So that makes sense. But
Yeah,
to
discreet
me,
as well as long lasting.
yes, yes. And of course, know what it is you're ingesting, right? Don't take four of them, one at a time. But it makes sense to me. But the edibles just don't have a long-term play. You see upticks here, you see upticks there, but by far, the large part of the cannabis market is combustibles, be it flower or pre-rolls or something along those lines. So maybe this was just people experimenting.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe some people were experimenting with strawberry cannabis candies. They were third on the list, strong in growth as the previous two fruit flavors. However, the fourth most popular flavor overall, still common entry in the state's top five. Most notably, strawberry occupies a massive amount of gummy retail space in Colorado. Wana has a 10-to-1 strawberry gummy, and Canna Pouch Golden Strawberry Pucks are some of the top items with growth distribution month over month. And then Independence Day offers day to night festivities as well as opportunities for consumption. Inhalables, the top product choice for daytime and evening consumption, perfect for transitioning from backyard barbecues to late night fireworks. So, yeah, again, inhalables. So, vape pens in Arizona, very conservative state, popular with inhalables, but vape, that is, not pre-rolls. And then edibles makes sense. It's all about being in families. Maybe you have more conservative friends that are over that might judge you or whatever, or in-laws, whatever it is. You want something long lasting that's discreet. That tends to be the theme here, I think.
Well, I will confess that my lovely parents had their 50th wedding anniversary approximately 2 or 3 years ago, and faced with a daunting task as that, um, I had a variety of sweets in my bag, and I guarantee you, I was the more popular person at that 50th anniversary party, even over alcohol. Um, and that was interesting to me. There was alcohol present, and the choice was made to have a piece of candy instead. And these individuals were not youthful 16-year-old experimenters. These individuals were well into retirement, saying, "Oh, I'll have that chocolate." And so we had a wonderful anniversary party.
That's awesome. So July 4th celebrates involve pairing of friends, food, festivities. 30% of consumers typically pair alcohol and cannabis in group settings, which is a absolutely terrible idea. They
Do
should.
not combine alcohol and cannabis, please, people. And God help us all, should you combine these two, ease yourself into it with the realization that cannabis greatly amplifies the effect, including the intoxicating effect of alcohol. So proceed with caution. Don't do it. If you do it, please start with cannabis and ease yourself into alcohol. That's my PSA for today, Josh.
Yeah, maybe pair lemon and cannabis. So we got some lemon cannabis drinks here. It's not a particular popular flavor of gummy, but it's extremely popular flavor in the beverage product, especially seasonal, like lemonade, obviously. So summertime. So lemon holds a huge amount of shelf space in the beverage market, especially in states like Oklahoma and Washington. Lemon's cousin lemonade is not the top flavor in any state, but nonetheless has enough of a retail presence to place second overall in the drink flavor race. Both of these beverage varieties are growing as we approach summer and the season when a cold glass of lemonade is defined as the ultimate refreshing recipe on a hot day. You have elixirs, half and half, tea and lemonade, flaves, THC lemonade, haze and Maine 3-to-1, happy hour lemonade, all been growing in popularity as the temperature rises. And yet, I think it's an interesting thing to point out, though, that if lemonade is the second highest flavored drink and it's only seasonal, then maybe beverages need to be looked at, which we will. There's a beverage analysis, so the rise of cannabis beverages. So after my interview with Troy Dayton of ArcView, kind of made me think about the industry as overall, about how you can move forward without losing a bunch of money. And a lot of these publicly traded companies are losing money, but they're gaining market share, and maybe that's the cost of it all. I don't know, but coffee isn't being sold. I think that's fascinating. No one's making coffee, and yet the lemonade is the second most popular flavor, but it's seasonal. Does that make sense to you, Katrina?
Yes and no. It makes sense to me that it is lemonade and lemon flavored drinks are viewed as refreshing. And so on a hot summer day, that makes sense. But if you draw the parallel between the cannabis market and the alcohol market, what kind of alcoholic drinks are you used to seeing in a bar that are lemon based? You have the traditional lemon drop, but I don't think I could name more than one or two others
I think the
that.
mojito is that equivalent to me, like the lemonade and mojito exchange, but one's lime, I think one's lemon.
Yeah, I mean, citrus simply, well, if you open it up to all citrus, uh, but in the summer, put a little bit of vodka in your lemonade if you're not gonna have cannabis. But at the same time, lemon and cannabis are friends. Most cannabis has a very high lemon-esque profile in its flavor anyway. So what is surprising to me is that sugary sweet flavors like watermelon rate higher than what, from a cooking perspective, a culinary perspective, lemon would pair better with cannabis than watermelon.
Well, when life gives you lemons, make infused lemonade. I don't know.
Infused lemonade.
I want to thank my guest, Katrina Glogowski, angel investor and attorney in Seattle. Thanks for being back on the podcast.
Thanks, Josh.
With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.